It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
Let's cut to the chase.
No.
I was going to save it for the end. Should I say it now?
No, it's your news. You save it for when you want to sell it.
Okay, we'll save it because, so today's episode is all about post-show.
Yes.
I am obviously in the timeline of being currently post-show.
Yes.
So I think let's talk about post-show first, what the people are here for, and then we'll talk about my current plans, because I finally have plans of what I'm doing next.
So stay the entire time. Do not skip.
Do not skip.
Don't skip till the end. Don't do that.
No timestamps here,
No
so
timestamps.
you'll have to suffer
We
through
could
this.
just do it right in the middle. You would never know.
Should I?
Just smack in the middle or add it as like an ad.
We should start doing that for all big news. I know when you did your announcement of like, this is my new partner, people were like, all of this fluff in the beginning because you were talking about like your entire week. And I was like, I know dang well people are scanning through to find the part. But.
All of this. And it's funny because I didn't do that on purpose. I actually did it by accident. Lucas listened to the episode. He was like, that was so cute. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm cute.
Adorable.
So cute.
Adorable. Okay, we're talking about post-show today. Something that we've talked about in the past, but I feel like every post-show is different. I feel like I learn something every single time post-show, and I learn to navigate things better. So today we're going to talk about a little refresher on what post-show looks like, how it feels, and how to have the most success within it. So first off, the mental side of post-show. I feel like this is the majority of the hardship is more mental than it is physical. Because if you think about a show day, I know it's not the same, but it's like still that grand event you're working towards where it feels like a big moment, a birthday, a wedding, but just like a big day that you've been working like a lot towards, planning a lot for. Obviously, like dedicating so much of your time and energy and life and lifestyle to this thing. Show day is such a rush. A lot of attention's on you. You feel amazing regardless of placing. You're just like doing the dang thing you set out to do, and it feels very surreal. So sometimes we have an extreme dopamine rise and adrenaline rush on that show day itself. So then the next day or days or weeks to come can sometimes feel like a drop from that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it goes from like this high of like all the attention's on me, I'm the best I've looked in ages, like I feel amazing, to that like almost now what? What am I working on? What is my current purpose?
Who am I?
Yeah, not to sound dramatic, but like really those feelings come up of it does. Wow, I just did the thing I've been working months for. Like,
there's
what do I do now?
Type feeling. And the dopamine crash is so real because you do spend so much time dedicated to this one thing, not only like with your routine, your nutrition, your cardio. Then there's also like the prep that has nothing to do with that. It's like getting the suit, the heels, learning your posing. If it's your first show, like a lot of family and friends typically want to go if they're supportive. So there's so much of that. And if you're traveling, there's also like travel included in booking things and tan. And then just like that, it seems like it's over. Like, so you're telling me that the thing that I've been working towards for maybe 4 or 5, 6 months is over in like a day. And that's why we stress so much to like be present on show day.
Yep. Because
it goes so fast and so slow all at the same time. And then in a blink of an eye, this thing you were looking forward to is over, and it can be sad.
Yeah, and especially, I'm so glad you said like being present on show day, because I've had show days where I'm not present and I'm so focused on everyone else and anything else and what's to come after the show instead of like being there and present and soaking it in the moment. So then when it's over, it hurts even more because you're like, wait, I wasn't even there. I wasn't appreciating the time I had. So definitely slow down on show day. That's something I really, really tried to set my intention with this year. And it did make a big difference where like the next day I just felt gratitude for experiencing that day instead of that dopamine drop of like, oh, it's over and I have nothing to look forward to now.
Yeah.
Along with that, like a little bit of relief from that is setting short-term goals for yourself before the show comes for after the show.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan of like, go on a trip, schedule a photo shoot. If you do plan on like keeping pushing, like plan your next show out with your coach. Like, hey, I feel good enough to do one after this. What would that look like? That way you have other goals you're working towards. And if it's nothing physical on that side, like setting strength goals, setting off-season goals, like as long as you're keeping the target moving, that'll help you with that momentum instead of feeling that like crash of, oh, well, I don't want to work out today. I don't want to eat my plan today because you have this next goal set already.
Yeah. Like we even experience this in the Know Your Power program. Like when we run 6-week challenges or something, like when we start coming to the end of like the 6-week challenge, we tell them like, keep this momentum. All of the things that you were doing on your prep or your challenge shred, keep doing them. Like maybe you're not doing as much cardio now. For sure. Maybe you're starting to eat a little bit more, but those routines that got you to the goal, like keep doing them because you know how good they made you feel. So like, let's keep them up. But what happens is like, we just completely stop doing all the things. Like that's why I struggled so much my first couple of shows because I just stopped doing them.
Same. This is actually like the first year where I'm like still doing cardio and I'm like, wait, that feels so good.
It does.
Like again, even if you're doing a modified variation, less time, different style of cardio, like maybe instead of stairs, you're doing treadmill or the bike, like something lower impact, just keeping that routine in makes you feel like you're still showing up for yourself the same way instead of like, I want to say every prep I've ever done, I go completely like, oh, no more cardio at all, not checking a meal plan at all. Whether you are in between shows or post show, like done for the entire season, it's so important to keep those habits in place. The other mental thing I wanted to talk about is the placing and feedback of it all. So whether you win, whether you place as high as you'd like to place, or you don't, I feel like either way, honestly, it is hard to deal with the next day. Where either it's this big high of like, oh, I did that goal, I reached it, I did exactly what I wanted to do. You take the judge's feedback and you have to sit with that. Or maybe you didn't place as well as you wanted to. I've definitely had shows in my past where like I came in dang near dead last, right? And that's obviously not the goal, and that can feel really disappointing in the moment. And it's hard to almost like celebrate yourself and your prep if that's what all of your efforts were weighing on. That's why it's so important to like find the mini wins throughout your entire prep and journey. So it's not fully weighing on like, I need to win this show to be proud of myself. You should be proud of yourself regardless. But I understand that feeling of like, I am a little disappointed. I wanted to do better. And you could easily fall into that being like, I'm done. I give up. No cardio, no reverse. Or you could use that as fuel of like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show them like I deserve to win this. And I'm going to take their feedback as a learning experience and go and like work on these things. Like when we're both told we need more glute projection, I get so excited to train glutes instead of being like, like it's like a fun challenge. Like that's your next marker. And that's why it's important to get feedback, and it's a positive thing, regardless of what they say. They could say like, hey, change this, 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 and this. Go to the drawing board and be like, I get to work on all these things instead of being like, they didn't like all these things about me.
I mean, I think that's the hard thing about bodybuilding, that you have to accept if you're going to be in this sport. But it's also the cool thing, because if you think about it, like when I was like a wrestler, like it was a solo sport and I would like lose a match. It was harder to pinpoint like, oh, you got to work on this exact thing, you know, like you got to work on your throws, or I don't know. But with bodybuilding, it's very much like they can be like boom, 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 which can be difficult if taking feedback isn't something that you're used to.
Oh, it's weird for sure.
Yeah, especially when it's on your physique, and like that could be really difficult to accept at first. But this is the sport that you're choosing into, and looking at it as a blessing where someone can be like, hey, if you do this, this, and this, and you come back, it's such a cool thing. Like even at my very last show of the season, I knew it was going to be my last show. I had gotten the same feedback each time, which was great. I could have easily been like, oh my God, like that sucks. But what was cool about it is like, oh, we're seeing a pattern. Each judge is telling me that we need to work on this. We need to work. Perfect. Now there's a pattern. I know exactly what I need to work on. And even like the small things of them being like, you look the best in the red suit. It just made you pop.
Yeah, like that's so fun to learn. I could have easily been like, but you didn't like my pink suit. I loved my pink suit, but I appreciated that little extra thing and didn't take it personally because I know that if I want to be the best on stage, I have to listen to these people. Exactly. I've definitely seen more with men.
Oh my God.
But I've seen
seen some women do it. Some like come out later and they're like, the judges were this, the judges. It's like, first of all, don't do that.
Yeah, don't. Positive sportsmanship always.
No, like if you...
Even if you are hurt by anything
if you want to be like
says.
blacklisted in the NPC or the IFBB, go ahead, do that.
Yeah. Also, on that note, like definitely don't be the person that doesn't come back for finals.
Don't you dare do that.
Looks bad. Like God, it is like... Again, like I feel like that's slightly disrespectful, first off to the judges, but also to the other competitors, because it's like, hey, like we are all showing up our best and trying our hardest regardless of placing. Like you deserve to be on that stage, you should be on that stage. So definitely, don't let it like affect you.
You just look like a sore loser, like a big fat sore loser that was like, I started bodybuilding like a year ago and I didn't get first place, so I'm not gonna show up. Like you don't just start playing the piano one day and you're like Mozart. You don't like throw a basketball one day and you're Michael Jordan. Same thing with bodybuilding. I think that like people get into it and you're like, I need to be an IFBB pro with my first year, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah. I feel like it's also because of social media, we see someone maybe doing their first show and looking so amazing. You don't know the amount of years they've been training for this. Buff Chicks athlete, I think, Kay, she just competed and looked so good. Yeah, she looked really good. Where she has one of those physiques where it's like, oh, you're turning pro. Like, at least in my perspective, I'm like, you are meant for this.
But she's also been like,
she has been training for so long. She was going to do wellness in the past. She'd like switched gears. She has been so serious about the sport for so long. Like I have just seen her and known her because she used to live here for ages. And like, this is her first show. And she has that level of physique, but you have to remember how hard and how long she's been working for that physique. True. You know, she didn't just show up and expect anything out of it, you know? True. So that was just like, she looked so good, but sometimes you don't know how long someone's been working towards that goal. Just because it's their first show and they won doesn't mean like that same expectation goes across the board. Just be happy to be there. That is mostly it on like the mental front and like more of the hardship that you have to face post show. And it can be really challenging to navigate. So I also highly recommend like keeping your circle around you updated. I'm someone who goes a little bit ghost in my off season sometimes. Oops. Where I have definitely like disappeared from the face of the planet because I feel like I can't tell the people around me if I'm struggling with food noise or struggling with motivation or whatever that looks like. But it is so important in these times to lean on the people around you. Include your friends and family who were there for you during your prep in your after prep because they want to support you there too. So, and if you feel like you ever run into questions or need extra guidance, like that's what Julia and I are here for sometimes. So if you feel like you have no one in your life or you have certain questions where you're like, hey, did you deal with this post-show? Reaching out to other people can be so beneficial in those times. And we're going to talk a little more about the mental side of like food stuff later in this episode. But going into the physical, so as much as physical reactions happen post-show, mental, a lot of physical reactions happen as well. So again, like that adrenaline, cortisol, dopamine rush that you have in peak week and even like the last several weeks of your prep, a lot of those can like crash and burn post-show, where I know my 1 week post-show, like that first week was so hard for me this year just to like wake up and do things. Like I was just so fatigued, so tired. My cortisol levels were like all over the place.
I remember on her show day, I was like, how the fuck is she doing?
Oh, I was on a high, dude.
I was like, she's on some shit. And then I think you said you were even like, you were kind of writing it that next day.
Yeah.
And then the day after that was when you were like,
So, okay, my show was Saturday. Amazing. Rode a high all day. Like, literally felt amazing. The next day, I went for brunch with my family who couldn't come to the show. And so we were at brunch, and then I was like, oh, I actually have to return something at this outdoor mall. So I before my mom had to leave and go on her flight, I was like, do you want to go shopping? She was like, of course I want to go shopping. And we are like maybe 10 minutes into walking in this outdoor mall. And I turned to her and I said, I just hit it. I hit the wall and I am unwell. And she's like, oh, but there's like a few more stores. Do you mind? I was like, I don't mind. I'm going to sit on this bench. As soon as I sat down in her car for her to drive me home, I knocked out. Oh, and wow. I think I was out from then until like the whole week. You
kind of like turn into a baby when you're like getting ready for a show or like post show, because you're like, on the day.
Yeah,
and then
it's so
you're like,
exciting. Yeah, it's truly crazy. Like I played at the park and now I need my nap.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
You're like, let's tire out this kid so they nap later.
So yeah, a lot of cortisol imbalances happen. This can make you feel extra fatigued. It can also physically affect how you look sometimes. Like,
oh God, yeah, true.
Bloating, water retention, which is going to come anyway. So the other side of physical changes is, personally for me, and this was like weirdly a red flag for me this year, digestion upset of like, maybe you had a celebratory meal or two post show. Maybe you are reintroducing some different foods into your plan. I know for me, like the last 4 months, I've eaten like cucumber, tilapia, and egg whites. And like, that's it.
I'm just thinking of the time I should. Because I was like, yeah, digestion.
That was post show for you.
That was post show for me, where I remember I was trying to eat different foods, and every time I ate different foods, my body said, no, we are expelling this immediately.
Mine's the opposite, where I'm just holding on to everything I eat.
I'm just backed up.
Where like literally I got onto my reverse, or onto like my next plan, which was slightly different from my prep plan. So a few variations in food, but really not anything crazy. And even then, even being back on track, my stomach was just having really negative reactions to everything. So just keep that in mind of like, you didn't mess up. You didn't do anything wrong. Weight being up is normal. Water being up is normal. Bloating is normal. Yes. It doesn't feel great because you were just at like your leanest, tightest stomach ever.
But you also have to realize you were, they call it peak week for a reason. You were peaking your physique to be the absolute pristine.
Yes.
So there's water manipulation, depending on how your coach does water manipulation, salt manipulation. You have the perfect tan. You're drying out.
Yep.
You had certain carb up meals so that your muscles are full, but you're still dry looking. So you peaked your physique to look the best that it ever looked in your life.
Yeah.
And then you start adding foods in with your fun foods. You start adding water, salt, sugars, fats. Of course, your body is going to respond differently, because think about it. Like, let's just logically think about this. You've been eating maybe tilapia, cucumber
egg
rice,
whites.
egg whites, and mine was cod, cucumber, white rice. Like, the same foods on repeat for maybe 4, 5, 6 months, because you do want to have pristine digestion throughout your season so that you don't have any of the bloat.
Yep.
And then you just like through tons of food your body's not used to, that's what's going to happen.
For sure.
It's like if you haven't drank in a while and you have a glass of wine, you're going to be a little woohoo.
Yeah. Your body gets used to what you give it. And yeah, if you've been eating so incredibly clean for so long, introducing anything else, even if the food is clean, even if you're like, wait, but I ate sweet potato all in my off season, I have sweet potato now, my stomach's reacting. Yep. It's your microbiome, like your actual bacteria in your gut, adjusting because it has been so used to digesting the same exact food every single day. Mm-hmm. For me, a big one was like artificial sweeteners. We took those out about 3 weeks out for me.
I bloated.
I was like, I want a root beer. And my body was like, no, you don't. Like, I literally was in so much pain from a few sips when like I used to drink diet sodas all the time. So I was like, what's going on? But again, like your body is so stripped of all of these things, which is great, but also not maintainable long-term, of course. Like, I feel like that goes without saying. We should have probably said it at the top. Like, your peak physique is not a maintainable physique. No. It shouldn't want to be a maintainable physique. So all of these changes are normal and expected, and getting back to a place that resembles some balance for you. Even if you're going into the next show, like we instantly went onto a plan to like continue cutting for me. And even then we introduced like a little fruit back in and a few different types of vegetables back in, because diversifying your microbiome is so important. So like that peak physique is not maintainable. You shouldn't want to maintain it, but it's about finding like that balance of getting you back to healthy while still transitioning out of this show phase, if that makes sense. Okay, some other bodily physical things is, you mentioned like pulling water, sodium, artificial sweeteners. A lot of reintroducing any of those is going to make the scale go up, okay? Try your best to remember that this is temporary. It is your body reacting. It is your body holding on to the water that it was missing and wanting, because obviously water
It's
is
like, when are you
healthy.
going to give it to us
Yes.
again? I'm just going to store it.
So I think I made the mistake, all right, be better than me. I think I weighed myself like the next day, mostly because I love data and I'm just so curious. And my weight was way up because I chugged water and I was having zero water for 2 days there, or like very, very minimal water for 2 days there. So just a reminder that like the scale going up is not a direct correlation of I gained body fat. I know for a fact I did not gain body fat in that timeline, or even sometimes like 1 or 2 weeks post show. Like it takes time for your body to then adjust. And it's about almost like blindly trusting the plan again, if that makes sense.
You have to like trust that it will eventually adjust. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, is that me included, like we freak out. That, oh my God, like it's not going to adjust. And then we kind of just go like, well, fine, I'm just going to throw in the towel. And we don't give our bodies enough time to allow that to happen.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to me my last post show, not like this current one, and why it went so poorly for me. Like that was my worst post show experience ever. And I think it's because I wasn't giving my body and even my mental health like time and patience. You just have to be patient. I know it's annoying, all right? You want the abs back immediately, but sometimes it takes like getting water in your system, sodium levels regulating, cortisol regulating.
Take a big old dump.
Digestion getting back to where it was. Like just give it time. And there is no, I ruined everything, I can't get back on track. You can absolutely always get back on track. Try to get on your reverse plan as soon as you can. But even if it's been a week or two, maybe if you did quote unquote fall off just a little bit and you wanted to have like experiences or certain food, just get them back on track when you can, like as soon as you are able to, because then you'll start feeling back to that normal sooner. Instead of, like my last show, I was very like, oh, my weight's up, so I ruined everything, so I'm going to keep giving into these things and not doing my positive habits. And then,
and then you just feel crappy.
That is harder.
It is harder.
The longer you wait, the harder it is. So
yes, because then you have that story in your head that like, I'm too far gone, what's the point? And it's like, you are never too far gone. Like
Never.
It's not, you can always get right back on track. And I think that it also goes into like actually having like a plan afterwards. And that's a big part of it. I didn't have a coach in my off seasons, and
that's also where I've messed up.
I didn't have a coach in my off seasons, and I understand that you can't always do that, but if you're able to, that's when you need them like the most. Like yes, you're peak physique, and you need help perfecting that on stage. Like I don't know what I wouldn't know how to peak myself if I even tried. But having my coach in the off season to monitor my blood work and to check in with me, make sure that I'm getting my period back. He's even, helps me with some of the mental stuff with my body changing and everything, and slowly reversing my calories to where I'm like, this is the best reverse I've ever had. And I'm eating more food than I've ever eaten.
Good.
It's great.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it took 5 years, but we're here.
It's so important too, though. It's just like working with your coach on those things and not feeling alone in it. And if you can't either afford it or your timeline with that coach has ended or whatever that looks like, maybe finding like a more affordable lifestyle coach, coming to the Know Your Power training. We can help you post show. We have both been there. But even like AI is a great tool. There's so much on Reddit and forums. Just feeling like you're not alone and that you do have a game plan in place. Because when post show hits, it's going to be a lot harder to be like, oh, I should probably make my plan now. Try to plan ahead of time. while you're before peak week even. Take a look at your nutrition, how you're feeling, check in with yourself, and set realistic expectations of like what your meal plan is going to look like shortly after your show. Exactly. So it's not just like here and we're in it and like that panic. Yeah. Wow, jinx.
Even if it's like if you already know, okay, I'm just going to be working with my coach for this show, and you know that going into it, document everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like one of the things that we encourage our Know Your Power girls to do when they leave one of the shred challenges and they're ready to go off on their own, or they have hit their weight loss goal and they're like, I think I'm ready to go on my own now. I encourage them, like, save all of the things, all of the resources. Like, you can do that with your coach. Like, you've paid for it.
Yeah.
You should be able to save all of the things, and you can go back and see, okay, where did my calories start? And that's where you can start working your way back. So like I'm just going to throw random numbers. Say like your lowest calorie intake peak week ended up being like 1,500 or so. Then go back to the data from your coach and be like, oh, at this point we were at 1,600. At this point we were at 17. And that can at least give you some guidelines on how that person cut you down. So save all those things if you don't plan to have a coach in the off season.
Yeah. And same with cardio, of like keeping that movement and keeping those workouts in. Like if you do plan on reducing, because I know staying at like, if you've been at an hour or more throughout your prep, obviously that's not super maintainable or enjoyable anyway. So slowly reducing it to like maybe 40 minutes and then 35, 30, never cutting down fully to zero, but finding something that works well for your routine. Or maybe that's cutting down like on one day a week. So you're not doing 5 or 6, maybe you're doing 3 or 4, whatever it looks like compared to where you were at your peak, to slowly reverse from there as healthy as possible. And slowly is such an important thing here, because a lot of us obviously like hunger cues and whatnot are off. Actually, we can just dive right into
Let's dive into hunger.
Let's dive into that. But since those things are off, sometimes like we want more food. And it's about being patient and slowly doing it for the long-term success of the plan. Because if you do it, the hard stuff now, future you can eat more. So
it's so true.
Just remind yourself of that. Like that's why your post has been so successful, is like you slowly got it to this point where now like you get to eat a lot more food and have really positive results.
I know. I'm like, my goal is to look exactly how I look right now. And for me and my coach, we're working towards like between 2,000 calories and 2,300 like daily, and me still look this way.
That's awesome.
And we were like we're pretty close to being there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool. But it does take just because you're going into your off season, it's so easy to like, you've worked so hard and to kind of just like, let me just chill for a sec, but you still do have to be very dialed in.
Yep.
You know, if you want to maintain all of the hard work that you have and start eating a little bit more, you still have to be just as locked in. Like, your hunger is going to be through the roof. And if you are patient with yourself and go through the process, eventually that hunger isn't so intense and it balances out if you let yourself get to that point.
Well, it's just like a reminder that bodybuilding in general is such a patient sport, which I know is a little infuriating. We want immediate results. We want to be shredded in 2 days and gain all the muscle we need to in 2 days, but that's not realistic. So when you are game planning your future, like, always keep in mind, like, if you're going to keep competing, what your realistic expectations and goals are, your timeline for yourself, because then post show is going to be more exciting and less fear-based, where instead of having like no guidance and you don't know where you're heading, being like, oh, okay, like, I came in 3rd place, I'm going to come back and win this show next year. Okay, that gives me this amount of time in an off season to build where they told me to, this amount to prep and get like maybe leaner if they told me to, or whatever that looks like. Always work with your future goals in mind. Like, okay, stepping on stage a year from now and winning, that means I need to do all the shit I got to do today.
Yeah, like this reverse diet that you're going through, this post-show, moving into everything that you're doing now is in preparation for that next show.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that I learned with just making all the mistakes on my show is that you are a bodybuilder year round.
Yep.
You're not just a bodybuilder when you're on prep. because everything that I'm doing now, yes, is it less exciting? Yes, is it less like glamorous? Yes, is it a little bit more like mundane and I don't have as much to look forward to? But everything that I'm doing now is for that next physique. So just
Exactly.
don't forget that.
And that's what being successful in the sport looks like, and
Yeah.
something I never developed until this year of like wanting it differently now, where like I am thinking like so long term of like, oh, I'm back. I had a great prep. I'm feeling great. Like these are all of these next goals and next seasons and what I see for myself. But I think in the past I did fall into that mindset of like, oh, I don't need to work with a coach in the off season. I'm going to lift what I enjoy lifting. I never followed a structured plan. And that's why I was never super successful in the sport, is like I only treated life like I was a bodybuilder when I was in prep. It is so important to do it throughout your entire off season. Keep those habits in. Like obviously watching you do it like year after year has been like teaching me too from the sidelines. Because like every post show is different for everyone, and like watching like what success looks like for you has been so cool and really insightful, where some people don't know that. Like some people assume that bodybuilders take a break because maybe you post a little less, or you're not showing it because it is less glamorized sometimes. But keep in mind, bodybuilders, especially like on those high levels, the people we follow, the people we look up to, the people competing consistently at the Olympia or at these big pro shows, like they never tap out of bodybuilding.
No.
They just are bodybuilders.
Yes. It adjusts and it might look different, but they're always locked in.
Yes.
Like as soon as my shows were over and everything, of course I had like my fun meals and I did some of my things, but then it was check in with coach. Let's start our reverse diet.
Yeah.
I need to go get blood work. Coach needs to check it. We need to supplement for anything that I am lacking. And then the hunger, and then getting with Brooke and training with Brooke and having a new trainer to work on these specific areas, and like having a call with her. So even like my posing coach, and then connecting with my suit people and like planning for next year and stuff like. But that does make it exciting too.
I think it's super exciting. Yeah. It's all about your outlook and like your intention with going into. I keep calling it an off season, but I love when people call it an improvement season, because that is when you're making the changes. Yeah, that
you're not
too.
Off.
You're not taking a break. It's just it allows for a little more balance in there. So like sometimes it looks like they are living a quote unquote normal life, but all of those goals, all those checklists are still part of the day and the week. So, all right, talking about the probably hardest part about post-show is the managing food noise and hunger cues. Mm-hmm. So we've alluded it a few times, where our bodies and our mental are a little out of alignment and a little not used to having balance, having food freedom, having hunger and fullness, like both sides of the spectrum, because when you're in bodybuilding prep, you are taught to and almost have to ignore a lot of what your body is telling you. I'm really hungry, I'm really thirsty. You gotta ignore those things because of the show day coming up. Is that healthy? No. But that's part of the sport, and it is part of the discipline you have to create. So sometimes post-show can be really challenging because now you do have more food freedom. You don't have a certain date almost like on the horizon that you're working towards. You have a hard time ignoring those hunger cues or being in touch with those fullness cues. We did an episode.
We have a full episode on this too.
So we did it recently, right?
Yeah,
like a couple weeks ago, where we talked about like the actual hormone impact of these like things our body is trying to tell us. And it can be a lot harder to read and a lot harder to be in touch with how you're feeling because you haven't been in touch with how you're feeling. Yeah. So this is a really slow process sometimes, especially if this is your first show ever. Like that extreme hunger and wanting to eat everything under the sun,
so normal.
And
you're not alone.
Mental buildup, so incredibly normal, and even normal for us now. I think we just get better at navigating it and setting realistic almost boundaries with food so that we don't go quote unquote crazy post show, and we know the mental aspect of how that feels later on. So definitely enjoy a meal, enjoy several meals, if you will. Celebrate what you just did and worked so hard for, getting on your reverse as quickly as you can, and scheduling in certain refeeds or free meals can be a great way to navigate this so that you are creating structure again, but having a little bit more balance and freedom in there without it feeling like it's an everyday impulse, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Being in touch with your fullness cues. This one's been really, really important to me, where sometimes you are at this point where you haven't been full in a really long time. Your body forgets what it feels like and it wants you to eat, right? So when you do eat, maybe your stomach is really extended, but your brain keeps going, well, I also want to eat that and I want to try this. And I have been craving that and seeing this online my whole prep. And so you keep giving into it until you get to that point where your stomach's in physical pain and distension.
Yeah. And then like the experience isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like I thought about this last night, and I've had so many like of these moments a lot this season where I'm like, wow, I never thought that I would be here, but I'm eating one of my Puff bars, and then halfway through it, I noticed that I am no longer enjoying this.
Yeah.
And then I went and I asked Lucas, because he's my garbage disposal.
Same.
I said, do you want the rest of this? And he's like, no, it's okay. He's like, just save it for tomorrow. You'll probably like be really excited that you can eat it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I put it in the fridge. Never in my life did I think I was going to like set something aside and not finish it.
Yeah.
But just the phrase of, I'm no longer enjoying this anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do hit that point post-show where you're so ravenous, where you're shoveling down food. You don't really know what it tastes like, smells like, what it feels like.
Yeah, you're not being
You're
present.
not chewing. You're not being present. You're no longer actually in the experience and enjoying the food, and you're kind of just clocked out. That's one of the biggest signs that you need to slow down, push the plate away, be present with your food. And it takes a lot of annoying, slowing down, being present, slowing down, catching yourself, slowing down, being present. And sometimes you'll be good at it and sometimes you won't. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect. Nope. It's just about learning and listening to yourself and slowing down. And one of the biggest phrases I keep repeating to myself, even right now, like being a few weeks post show, is like, the food's not going anywhere.
That's a good one. I love that.
I keep telling myself like, hey, you don't need to panic eat right now. The food's not going anywhere.
Food will literally always be there. Yeah. Like it's on every corner. Like you
almost
have,
too much.
You sometimes. Have the rest of your life to go and have the sushi, the burgers, the fries, the pizza. And it's, there's almost this like scarcity feeling. I know that I had it where post show, where you haven't had all these things for such a long time and you feel this need to like have it all right then and there.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got so many more like months left in this off season. Let's spread it out. Like go. You don't have to have it all in one
That's
week.
why I'm saying like having planned refeeds on like certain days of the week or maybe every other week or whatever you and your coach decide on can allow, or maybe if you're doing macros in your off season, like those are great opportunities to have a little bit of those fun foods you have been craving, still working towards your goals instead of consuming your life. And that's all you think about. And that's all you do eat. You're not eating any of your prep plan food, and it's just setting yourself up for success is like slowing down and taking your time. And I just keep telling myself like, I really want something sweet right now, but I could have that on this day, or I could have that later on, or I could have a healthier version of that where I am still aligning with my goals and keeping to my reverse calories, where I'm not going to disrupt the plan long term, you know? So I know it's easier said than done. That's super hard. Food noise is so incredibly normal. And you just have to remember, like, you just had such an insane level of discipline. It's not gone.
No.
It's going to be harder to hold on to, but because you created it before, you can easily create it again. Yeah. And this is a learning experience and a great time to practice all of these discipline and habits you've created in your off season. So off season's really challenging. I always say it's harder than prep.
I'm 100% with you on that.
Mentally, it's hard. Physically, it's hard.
Yeah. I think it's because like when you do have a goal and every day is very routine, it's freedom often scares us.
Yeah.
So whenever we have a plan, a routine, the discipline, you know what you're going to eat, you know when your show day, you know what to expect. It's like that for a long time. And then you say, hey, you have freedom. It's often scary because we don't trust ourselves enough with that freedom. So you've learned how to have the discipline. You've learned how to stay on track with your training, your cardio, your nutrition. Now let's shift that level of focus that you had on that. Let's shift that to this improvement season.
Yeah.
Where like, let's get so good at that and tuning into our body and seeing how we're feeling during training and building strength, focusing on performance. I am a competitive person, so I make up goals with myself. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good at bodybuilding. I know that I'm good at that. I am going to get so good at this improvement season. Past Julia's ain't going to fucking know.
That's like, how I keep feeling.
Make up shit to confuse myself.
Yeah.
I make up goals so that I can like delulu myself because it helps me.
Yeah.
It does.
Especially like for me transitioning to bikini and like knowing some of my feedback and like talking to some other just people in the industry has been like, I'm probably going to have to lose a little bit of my quads, which is never fun. Okay. I worked so hard to get them. And obviously grow my glutes. That's a huge part of wellness and bikini and every division, to be honest. But like going into it with like, I'm going to have the biggest butt in the world. Like I'm not going to push crazy weight most likely because that isn't going to align with my like future bikini physique that I'm trying to create right now. Still obviously pushing good weight, but I'm not going to be PRing all the time. So it's like, okay, let's find exercises that I feel so incredibly deeply and get like a crazy glute pump and be excited for that part of training and making these improvements and coming back better and like having my feedback be different next year of like, oh, we know that you did make those improvements in this improvement season.
And I love seeing that.
Yeah, a lot of it in the gym as well is all about structure and routine. So just creating like a new workout plan, that can be another exciting thing too, of like introducing some different exercises in there, playing around with new machines that align with the goals that you're trying to transition into for your next show.
Yeah.
So always keep the ball rolling. It's easier said than done. It's really challenging. Lean on the people around you. I've cried a few times post-show.
Yeah.
Like it's never easy. It's also so easy to be hard on yourself in this time because you are comparing your current body to how you looked peaked. And again, even like down to the tan. I was looking at my legs. I was like, I'm so pale and I'm huge.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy.
We're like all of those things, like everything was so quote unquote perfect or as perfect as you could get it for like a couple days there.
Yes.
That being post-show, don't compare your body right now to that. Try to start, if you're going to look at like progress photos or anything like that, reminder that like you're not going to be in that peak week zone anymore. Yeah. It's not healthy. It's not maintainable. But if you want to look at your improvements, maybe taking one of your progress photos from like several weeks out, right? Where you were still having a little food in your system, still having a little artificial sweeteners in your system, because your body's going to look different there than it will peaked, than it will post show. So try not to play the comparison game. Try to stay away from the scale unless you're checking in with your coach and they ask for it.
That's literally the only time you should be checking.
Yeah. I get a little obsessive sometimes. I love data, so I am mentally removed from it, but I love just weighing myself like every day.
As
and I was
long
like,
as it's not like affecting you mentally and you're stepping on there, you're letting it ruin your day, your body checking in the mirror, you know.
That one's huge for me. I'm like, are the abs still there? And it's like, just give your body a minute.
100%.
Take a breather.
So if you're just noticing that those like habits that you're doing are negatively affecting you, remove them.
Yeah.
Remove them.
Agreed.
Just stop doing it.
That is most of navigating post-show. We are now going to talk about Kendall's game plan.
Yay!
So
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
I'm going to share the overarching plan, and then I have something specific in mind, but it is up to circumstances, not up to me.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you, I might cut it out for the listeners, but maybe I'll share it anyway, because it is just a goal of mine and it could be really fun. I am not doing December nationals.
Okay.
I really was trying to keep pushing, and honestly, like my digestion is saying F no.
Dang.
So it was one of those things. I got right back on plan. I've been eating what I was told to eat, and like I have just felt awful, and I've been trying to like push past it. And I think it is the universe and my body telling me like, this show's not for you.
Okay.
There's other shows in the future, which we'll talk about in a second. So why are you trying to rush to this one just because it's convenient, just because it's in Texas, just because it's a few weeks away? But I feel like the harder I was trying to push, my body was just like really combating me. And it is annoying. It is unfortunate. It did make me cry because it feels like a letdown of like, I really wanted to do that show. So this wasn't like an easy decision. Yeah. And I've been overthinking it and trying to navigate things. It was one of those things. And I was talking about it with my mom, and she was like, my saying, everything happens for a reason. Like there is a reason why the stars are not aligning for this show. And I said, you know what, you're so right. Because mentally when I was, we like daydream about like the next show we're doing and like how it's going to look and feel. And when you used to meditate on turning pro, there was like a specific announcer and like a specific feeling, suit color, whatever. I didn't have a good gut feeling about this show. Okay. So I'm also trying to listen to that and be like, okay, I'm going into this show for the wrong reasons. Let's like actually reassess and game plan. So I started looking online. Okay. This is the part I might cut out, but I might just leave it. It is depending on my new coach and what they think for me. So that's why I say it's out of my hands, because I'm not going to do a show just to do a show. I'm going to do it with the right timing and when my body's right, because my next goal for myself is a pro card. Of course, I feel like that is most competitors' goals on the NPC level. So I don't want to show up just to show up. Like I want to develop my physique enough to even just like do well at this show. I won't need to win, but I want to do well. I was looking at the Arnold Amateur. Yeah! That is such a bucket list show for myself. I didn't realize it's 15 weeks away.
Yeah, it's March.
Which is, that's enough time where like literally when I saw the date for that show and realized like the distance out, because I'm in a mental place to keep pushing. But if a coach is willing to work on me and take me to that show, like it's such a bucket list show. And that would be so fun and so cool. And you can win your pro card, but that's like not even why. Like I just kind of want to step on that stage.
Like so cool.
It's just an iconic show. And it's surprisingly not a huge show every year. So it's like very well ran, obviously. I would get to have the weekend at the Arnold and like do the booths and meet you guys. And so that's the goal for myself. That's like what I see for myself. I had a really good feeling about it when I realized it. You could just
tell too how you're talking about it.
I instantly, because I brought it up to Cooper, obviously, and I was like, I could still keep pushing for this nationals. And he said, girl, you seem stressed.
Yeah. And then it's like, you don't want to go into a show. There's often times where like we have this image in our head of like how it's going to look, and maybe it's a certain date and even if like things aren't aligning and it's a little bit messy where we try to force it anyways. I've done that so many times and been like, oh wait, I actually wasn't supposed to force it. I was supposed to flow.
Because like I really flowed into this local show and everything felt amazing. And I honestly think that's why my body's been fighting me, is I've been so stressed out.
Yeah.
Like my cortisol levels are like tanking because I am post show, but then also I was like really stressing myself out, and I've just been like a mental wreck trying to force going into December National. That's my plan for myself, my vision for myself. If it doesn't work out, I am accepting that from the universe, but I would really like for this one to work out.
Also, do what I want you to.
Yes. So yeah, that's where I'm currently at. I'll keep you guys updated once I like sign with a coach what we say together, because I don't want the decision to be on me. It should never fully be on the athlete. Like it should be a cooperative where I came to them and I was like, I really want to do this show, but I'll listen to you. So we'll see what they say and how my body continues responding, because I don't want to force anything. And this one, like, I have a good gut feeling about, while Nationals was really stressing me out. Now I'm just excited.
Yes, you want to have like a fun experience, and it's like the Arnold weekend.
Exactly.
And you get there's that experience all together.
And I've never been.
You haven't been.
I've never been to the Arnold, so it would be so cool. It's just such a bucket list show, and like
I'll be there.
I'm thinking about the content and the photos and the meeting people. Like it would just be a really enjoyable weekend. And then on that similar track of like this whole episode talking about like game planning, what's next after your show, it's like, oh, I immediately have the dopamine the next few days of like getting to experience the Arnold. Like that would be cool. So I would love to go anyway, even if I'm just watching. And I have gotten so many lovely DMs from people saying that you guys are doing nationals in December, asking if I'm going to be there.
I know.
I have been ignoring you. I might still go and watch. So not saying I won't be there entirely, just because I haven't been to a national show in a long time. It might be fun for me and like a little insightful for me to go and watch that show since it's not too far away anyway.
A lot of people that are going to be at that show, and I got some messages too, and I was like, I might, if Kendall's there.
I might go anyway. That added another layer to like immediately after my show, my mom booked her flight for December. So I was like also stressing myself out. And that was one of those indicators where I was like, I shouldn't be doing this for anyone else. Gotcha. And just because like she booked a flight or booked a hotel, like I need to do this for me.
True.
Yeah.
I used to get very stressed about I would stress myself. Like my parents were just excited and they were like so gung ho to support me, and they'd be like, "When's the show date?" And if I didn't have one planned, like I would feel like, oh, and I'm like, regardless, my parents would be like, we're fine. Do what you want to do, and I would be stressing myself out for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
I'm so excited.
And then I feel like you go to the Arnold anyway, so then I was like, Julia will be there.
I think
make a trip out of it.
Yeah, the buff chick always does a booth there. So I will be there anyways.
Exciting.
It's so cool.
I hope I can do that show. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'll let y'all know, I guess.
No stress, but no stress, no pressure.
No stress, no pressure. On myself or from the universe. It is out of my hands.
We're just going to have hands wide open. Yeah. Awesome, y'all. Well, if you're ever struggling with anything post-show, please send us a message. Like, just know that you're not alone. And I know that every time I talk about it on social media, like in any capacity about food or body dysmorphia, the mental side, people are like, oh my God, so this is normal. And I'm like, girl, yes. Like all of it is so normal. We have other episodes on it. If you haven't listened to the one about understanding your hunger,
that one's so important.
That'll be a really big one, so that you can just be like, oh, like, okay, this is what's supposed to be happening within my body. It gives a little logic behind it. But as always, we love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.